The time being 9 o'clock, call the meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have any additions or corrections to the agenda?
I have one item. Our contract for farm lease at the 22.16 acres on Highway 76 is up in April of 2017. Expires April 15 of 2017. We should be looking at the possibility of putting that up for rent again. Anyway, under discussion items.
Yes.
Okay. So we've got that added to it. Anything else?
Move to approve the agenda as amended.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Has everyone had a chance to look at the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Our 9 o'clock, Ms. Kruger.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
We have one agenda item, and it deals with the closing of the historical courthouse building to the public on the 23rd of December this year, as the 24th falls on Saturday. That question that came up has led me to look at this matter further, and I'm going to be making a recommendation to you this morning for an ongoing closing to the public. And give a little background to the rationale as to why. This building houses a majority of, if not all, of our administrative functions and many of our other service functions. The majority of our employees are members of the AFSCME bargaining unit, with the exception of the department heads, IT, and the confidential employees, which are finance and myself. The bargaining unit has negotiated, and as part of their contract, has the 24th of December off as a paid holiday. It is observed on the preceding Friday, if it occurs on the weekend. It observes during the week, obviously. Closed to the public does not imply that the rest of the employees are having this off. Certainly, then they would have the option to come in and work their time, should they choose to do so. Also, I have had some conversations with Highway and Public Health, and of course their staff would not be impacted by this either. So what I am proposing is that should the 24th occur on a Monday through Thursday, that full day of the 24th, the
Prior business day?
Pardon me?
Or the prior business day would be?
Monday through Thursday.
Yeah.
That we be closed to the public for a full day. If it occurs, the 24th occurs on a Friday, the building would be closed to the public the preceding Thursday. If the 24th occurs on a Saturday or Sunday, we would be closed to the public the preceding Friday. Obviously, this is closure to award the 24th and the 25th as not open to the public. Employees then follow whatever their collective bargaining agreement or the county policy provides regarding their own, whether they take vacation or if it's a holiday pay. And so that's what's before the board today. The reason I'm bringing this forth at this time post this to the public so that they are aware these offices are not open to the public.
Input from the board?
We all, I think, got the emails. I talked to Tess on the phone. I personally am a big advocate for this and the fact that I know everybody wants to travel and to have people travel safely and have plenty of time versus always rushing right after work and get going. So with that being said, I would move that the, I guess, do we want to do the whole, are you revamping the whole as far as policy goes? You know, that you were just saying that.
The Houston, it's only for the Houston, excuse me, not Houston, the historical courthouse facility be closed during the times that
The
we
24th,
observe
yeah.
the 24th.
Does that make sense, Michelle?
As I
So we-
set forth.
Yep,
I have it detailed in here, so yes.
okay.
I don't think we received any emails on it, though.
It was out to personnel, Justin.
Oh, it was just us too? Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to see it, too. Yeah.
I was,
Well,
I
and I
wanted
think,
to get, here, Commissioner, I appreciate your comment, and I agree. I was seeking personnel committee feedback and had intended then to put this on the agenda after I received their feedback and give you full information for the December 6th meeting. I was then informed there is no December 6th meeting. Then I was further informed that if I waited until the 13th, that I was going to have difficulty potentially needing notice to the public, adequate notice of some of the statutory offices being closed. Therefore, it did just go to the personnel committee. So I apologize for that.
Yeah, it's nice to have the information before we have to make a decision on it.
well, and it was kind of a last minute deal that was done yesterday because
Oh,
Tess wasn't aware that there was an AMC meeting that everybody's going to be gone. So we just said, well, we can do it tomorrow and we'll have discussion, bring everybody up to speed on this during the board meeting, so.
Let me also give you a little further information. The 24th, if it occurs during a Monday through Thursday, our current policy is that we close at noon. And so in last year, the county considered, no, we would do an all-day closing to the public. Because we have almost all the staff that's in this building, it has been worded that day as a holiday. So we don't have staff to staff the offices. So then it came up that we should probably just address this instead of year by year as once, because it would be an ongoing question.
I'm not opposed to the whole idea of a policy on it. I just like to know ahead of time before we make decisions.
And it would just be this building. Public health would stay open their half day,
Highway,
and highway would. So,
sheriff's office is different.
yeah.
Right.
Obviously, we have department heads here, but I'm not, but the question becomes, can the department head provide all the services that are necessary?
It would be difficult.
So Justin, was that a motion? Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for explaining it so well.
And again, my apologies, Commissioner.
The consent agenda?
Move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? It just is about the payroll regarding recent hires and changes. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. How about if we go to discussion items next? One of the things under our discussion item is to discuss the Board of Adjustments membership. And through a lot of conversation, would you two mind coming forward for this discussion? If that's all right with the rest of the board, I'd like to have Aaron and Rick in on
Well,
this.
and maybe Sam too.
Yep. Sam, are you in with this?
Yeah,
Okay.
I could. Yeah,
All right. The Board of Adjustments now has 3 people on. Our ordinance says we can have up to 7. The discussion has been, and we need to come to a consensus as the board to go to 5 people on the Board of Adjustments. It gives a little more depth to the decisions made there. We just need to start recruiting people to be on the Board of Adjustments. Maybe if this goes through, we could encourage the papers to promote it. It's on our website right now that you can apply for any volunteer position in the county, or any, and it's under personnel and one other place too, and I can't remember. But if you go to personnel, you'll find it. And we need to talk about, first, let's start with that part first. Is that okay? You guys are on board for this too? You think it's a good idea?
It would make, put it this way, there are times with just a 3-member board, quorum time gets a little bit difficult. It would be nice, I think, to expand it, and I think it also brings a better cross-section of the county.
Better input.
3 to 5, if each, we get a representative from, like, say, different cross-sections of the county. Yeah.
You know, a number of years ago, I brought this up that board needed to go to at least 5. And I've witnessed it at least twice where decisions were made that one could say, was that being made in the best interest of the county, or was it being made some friends that get together? There was one instance when I know even one member that was on there, you know, there was a time where they were trying to find a conflict of interest just to eliminate one person to make the vote easier. I don't like that. I don't think that's good government. You know, when you have a board, such as a Board of Adjustment, where it is a final say, that's very, very important. And I think just having, you know, on 3 votes, it's just 2 people. You can just have 2 buddies saying, hey, how do you want to do it? Oh, sounds good, let's just do it that way, versus, okay, is this a good decision? Were we informed? Here's the evidence to support the decision. So I am very much for going to a 5-member board, and would encourage the rest of everybody that way too.
And I think that one of the things that we need to make sure that we're thinking about as we expand this also is that it is such a high board in the county. And we do need to have people on from varied places.
That's true.
And we need people that don't have
Agenda or something.
Or
yeah,
a preconceived perception or
right.
an idea.
We need
Decision,
open-minded
preconceived
people who are
decisions.
willing to, you know, I think that that's one of the most important things that we need to do on this board is make sure that it's open-minded. And where are we at with, do we need to replace some of the people already that their terms are expiring?
We have one member there that's, his 3-year term is up, and I think the other one member, yes,
Okay.
his time first.
Okay.
What
So
I
this
have,
would be a-
Commissioners, there's Mr. Myrie, in 12/31 of 2016, he is, his term expires. Mr. Orr, he expires in, he expire, I guess. December 31st, his term expires in 2017. But speaking with zoning administrator Locker, that he, according to our subdivision 2 of the zoning ordinance of 110.1102, is that he's term limited out. That's my understanding. So I would suggest, and of course there is that clause where he can serve at the board's discretion. Many of these people can. They can be removed today by 3-2 vote if you wish to. But just to that, even though he has gotten to 2017, December 31st, he would be, unless the board wants to extend it, would be done. And then there's an alternate, Mr. Holen. His term is not term limited up, I don't believe, but he should be reappointed if you wish to, as he expired, his service expires 12/31/2016.
here's how I see this. Let's first get the board what you want to do as far as if you want to go to a 5-member board or not. Then we'll talk about, what to do as
So,
far as members.
do we have a motion to expand the planning and zoning board from 3 members to 5?
Board of Adjustment.
I'm sorry.
Board of- I will move to expand the Board of Adjustment
I'll
to
second.
5 members.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes.
Budgets were prepared at 3,
Mhm.
and I'll have to keep in,
We'll
just
just-
remind the board that it just depends. I mean, we might be within 5, it just depends on the applications coming in, but that may have a direct effect on that line item.
We can just take some from yours, Rick.
That's fine.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. We'll get that figured out. I think this is more important.
Well, like I
you
said,
know.
I mean, the Board of Adjustments at discretion, I mean, they could not meet for 2-3 months, and
Right.
then they could meet,
Right.
on a monthly basis. That's just, we don't know.
And we'll have, absolute worst case scenario, we've got money like in the commissioner's contingency fund, stuff like that, I mean, if we had to cover, but I wouldn't anticipate that being a high expense when they don't meet on a regular basis and we're adding
Well,
2
you don't know
individuals,
because they could end up meeting on a regular basis.
Which is hard to budget, I mean, even
Right.
if you had 3 and they end up meeting
Well,
every
and that's just
week,
it.
you know, I mean,
Yeah.
so,
We predict as much as we can.
right.
I think we all agree that we want to go with 5.
Mhm.
Did we vote?
Yes, we
Yeah.
did. Yes, so
Ah.
we are going to 5 on the board. Now we need to talk about,
When would that be effective then, I guess, would it, from,
well,
Yeah.
we have to appoint them in December.
okay.
The
So you're
Board of
looking at-
Adjustments is appointed
Are
is
you
appointed
looking
in
at setting
December.
up some kind of committee then you might
Search.
get a number of applicants. I mean, how do you as a board want to handle that?
Well, here, I guess my thought would be that, we have people that are interested, put in their applications. I guess my thought was always that you put in the applications with this one, since we're going to 5, that it would give you, this won't go out until, say, next week. You get your couple of weeks there, and then you have another week for interview process that it would be after the first of the year when we appoint all of our other committees, that you'd appoint those
But
members
isn't
to
that
be on
one
there.
appointed before that?
I thought it was done in January.
Oh, I
First
thought,
meeting in
I
January.
thought you said Board of Adjustments was done in December.
Mm-mm.
Oh, I'm sorry, then I'm,
They expire the end of December.
okay,
So
all
So
right,
it's
okay.
the rest of your
Okay,
appointments.
all right, fine.
My-
That's
my
perfectly
only-
fine.
Maybe my suggestion that the board be something to discuss too is, with this, if we have 5 members, should this be something that we do kind of like the planning commission where one person from each commissioner district be represented, or that the La Crescent be a member at large? I know we've done it that way in the past, but do we want to do something like that?
If we're
I
going to
don't know.
cover all representation of the county, I feel that La Crescent, that District
Mhm.
1 should have a representative on there, because the same way with the Planning and Zoning Board, because what happens here affects
Mhm.
everyone in the county. And if you have a 5-member board, there should be a person from each district.
Sure. Is that, I don't know,
That's
thoughts, do
ideal.
you want to do it that way, or is it just kind of,
I would
what's your thought?
comment on that, that if a citizen of La Crescent Township, they would never appeal to this board. They would appeal to the Board of Adjustment that exists for La Crescent Township, because La Crescent Township is doing their own zoning. So I don't know if that's a
Well,
consideration.
District 1 is the city of La Crescent. Yes, they have their own zoning. I just think that because we always separate out and don't have them represented, the city of La Crescent, on the planning and zoning even. If you feel that they shouldn't be on the Board of Adjustments because things wouldn't be appealed to there, I still think that because La Crescent does follow, the county's guidelines are the number 1, and then there's our,
Sure. And I'm in no way saying that I feel that that's the way it ought to be. I was just
Mhm.
pointing that out.
The one other thing is, what happens if we do not get an applicant from a district?
Right.
Well, I guess that's what I'm saying. Do we want to follow something like that, or do we want to just have 5 people, they can be
I
from
think we
wherever.
need to start with 5 people, hopefully one from each district,
Yeah.
but if not,
As
if we can
close
get
as you can
5,
get.
Sure.
as close as we can
I
get.
kind of like it from each district, and that's what we have done in the past, because basically what they bring to the board is a knowledge of the area,
Mhm.
and that kind of has in the past served well.
Mhm.
Well, and it can be kind of like a commissioner with a delegate, that if you have a problem, go to your planning and zoning person or your board of adjustment
Exactly.
person from your area and talk to them.
Exactly.
And if we can't find somebody, then we go, a member at large that fills that position, I guess, you know.
You take probably the next best candidate or whatever. it is.
Exactly, yeah.
Do you know, one of the things, though, that in the different trainings that we've been to, that they stress is to make sure that your Board of Adjustments is neutral people. I think we need to be very cognizant of that you don't have people who voice their opinion one way or the other. That
Before the decision, you mean, or?
Right, or, like, let's say someone writes letters voicing their opinion one way about how planning and zoning is going. That wouldn't be the role the person on the Board of Adjustment should
Right.
take. They should be the person who doesn't, make public statements.
I guess the best way I think to explain it would be it's a quasi-judicial role. A judge, once you get on the bench, you can't be in any, you can be in Rotary Alliance, for example, but you can't sell any tickets or do anything like that. And it's been difficult for female judges who are in roles that are, that are selling things. Sometimes I've heard stories about that, where you're expected to do things. And the reason is not because even that there's potential conflicts, but there's the appearance of a conflict. And so when you accept this, you're not saying you're losing some rights, but you have to always be cognizant of these actions, that over public actions, how they may appear when someone would come before you. Because the issue is that, as Commissioner Zimieski said, is that this is not a recommendation board. This is a decision-making board. It's the appeals from the issue that the administrative officer has made, and then that goes to the district court from there. And so, and the district court, when making that decision, there's some flexibility to this, but it's important to understand is that one of the touchstones of this is that the district court doesn't re-weigh the facts on the Board of Adjustment decision. They take a look, and if there's a reasonable, rational explanation, or I think the case law says one scintilla of evidence, it's upheld. And so it's very difficult for a reviewing court in the district court to overturn what the Board of Adjustment does. So the understanding is that when you get onto this is not a recommendation body, and it's a quasi-judicial one. So whoever does the interviewing of these people, that's a really good lens to look at this through when you're making an interview decisions here, is everyone has their inherent conflicts of interest, but you have to be able to set those aside to serve in this role for a temporary time that you're in this role.
Well, and I think the thing that everybody has to remember too is you start getting on a slippery slope. You start talking about people can't have opinions. There's a difference between a conflict of interest and an opinion. If you have a conflict of interest, such as owning something that is being a decision-making, that's obvious. Everybody's entitled to an opinion. That's why I think that's one of the main reasons why you need to go to a 5-member board, is that you might have, differences of opinions. Well, if 2 people have the same opinion, a vote can go through pretty easily, versus those 2 on a 5-member board wouldn't be as much. So I don't want to get into the discussion of, can somebody have an opinion on a matter? Yeah, everybody should have an opinion. But the question is, and what I think the attorney is getting at is, are you capable of putting your opinion aside to make the decision that's in the best interest of the people? I have many, many opinions on certain subjects, but if all of a sudden, say, Aaron or Rick or Sam brings something forward, I have to be able to say, well, that's true. I see it from that direction, and there's that. So
A private opinion and a public opinion are 2 different
Yeah.
things. And that
Right.
your personal opinion is also, I suppose, called your life experiences, and that's why you want someone who has a rich background and maybe has all these experiences, so their personal opinion, it would make they were able to express it publicly at this type of meeting.
right.
So I agree with you. I think that you certainly want people to have opinions, But you have to separate the public and private
That's
issue
right.
on it. And you're looking for that diverse background of life experiences for people to be on these type of boards.
Just one other thing is just remember though that we're only probably looking for 4 individuals, not 5.
Mhm.
Because you got one member from the planning commission that serves on that board.
Yeah, correct. Yep, yep. Well,
About the alternate guy, is he
oh,
eligible?
so, okay, bringing that up. Not that, but
Okay.
you reminded me of something. I guess, thoughts. If we're going to a 5-member, my personal opinion, love to have some discussion. I see it that everybody reapply. You know, there's those that term limits are up, okay, fine. But I guess I see it that it's kind of like redistricting from a political aspect that, yeah, you get into office, you get redistricted, you have to run again. So, you know, I don't want to automatically just assume that since somebody was there, they automatically get the spot back. I would like to see it that we're going to have applicants from all over, and we're going to take the best applicants that are there, and everybody has the same opportunity to apply for the position, but you're not guaranteed a spot.
Just to clarify, that would include the planning commission member who serves?
Correct.
I mean, he was appointed a year ago.
Yeah, and he can be reappointed, but I mean, if somebody else says, hey, I'd like to do that, I'd like to be able to weigh out.
Off the planning commission.
Yeah, you know, I mean, other people, not just a guarantee that. That's my thoughts. You know,
So
get a good
at
pool.
this point right now, the decision for who comes from the planning commission to the Board of Adjustments is a planning decision.
I don't believe so.
No.
I believe it's
The
the
county board,
Okay.
yes, has the
Okay.
ultimate decision.
Okay, but they generally come up with the person and the board approves or doesn't.
They come up with recommendation or somebody volunteers, I suppose.
Right,
Yeah.
From the
okay.
planning commission, yes.
Mhm.
That's all was handled in the past.
I also don't think we need an alternative with the 5 men
Yeah,
on
I
the
don't think
board
that we.
anymore.
I would like to see the alternate sitting there because there's, you know, there may be a chance that sometime with 2 of those members or whatever are gone, it's always nice to have that alternate, or if you have a conflict of interest, that we can bring in that alternate.
But then that alternate should be at every meeting, so then you're actually looking at having
Yeah.
an expense for a 6-person board now versus a
Mhm.
5-person board, because an alternate,
Well-
if they're gonna step in, really should be knowing what the board
What's
is
going on.
But
doing.
I look,
My only thing is, I'm going to jump in here real quick. My only thing is, I think an alternate is an unnecessary position right now. You have a 5-member board. If you have 2 people gone, you still have a quorum of 3. You know, I mean, just like
Just like
us
this
here,
board.
you know, it's just, that's why we have because when you
We
only
should
have
all have
3,
alternates.
I agree.
But-
when you have 3, I understand with an alternate.
And that's
having,
what,
you
that's
know.
what I was getting at, is that,
Mhm.
with 5 people,
Yeah.
you shouldn't need to have an
Right.
alternate,
Mhm.
because an alternate should be as committed as a member.
I
And-
agree.
And this
agree.
way, we have 5 committed members.
Mhm.
If I guess I would defer to Attorney Yonch on this, but as I was reading through Minnesota Statute 39426 last night,
Mhm.
the rules that pertain to this, my read of that is that an alternate is not an option unless it's a 3-member board.
Okay,
It
okay,
specifies that you
good.
can't have
Yeah,
an alternate.
solve that
There you
one.
go.
There's a 3-member
Okay.
board.
Thanks,
beyond
Aaron.
that.
Yeah, thank you, Aaron.
So right now, we're just plain looking for 5 people, hopefully
Right.
from each
And hopefully
district.
from each
4, yeah.
district that you guys are, and then La Crescent would be the appointed one from the planning and zoning.
Yeah, there you go.
Mhm.
Right, yeah, yeah.
But I would like to see,
4 people for sure.
Mhm.
well, if we can, we just work for what we can get.
Mhm.
But I mean,
Yeah.
to be really cognizant of that we need neutral people.
Mhm.
All right.
now, how does the board, what she desires as far as the interview process?
I think that's a good question as far as, that's why kind of,
We'll see what we get.
I know we were trying to work on policies all summer as far as how that's going to come about. I don't know where that ever got, but
I thought that we kind of did have a policy going forward for how,
well, we did, but we've never done it, I think, with all
I think
4 being up before,
I
you know,
think
usually it's
it-
1 or
yeah,
2.
I think the last ones, I think it was the personnel committee, the
Mhm.
human,
HR.
public,
Resource.
yeah, HR, and then, I think myself was, who did the interview.
Mhm.
So,
And we can, I mean, Rick, I'd like to have Aaron there since you work hand in hand.
You know, I was approached, well, last year when I think this process was undertaken for planning commission members. And I suggested that perhaps it would be advantageous to remove myself from that selection process because I'm working so closely with the committees after they're formed. So I don't.
I respect you for doing that. I'm gonna go and say that I would request that you be there in the aspect that since you do work so close, I would like to have your input and knowledge on that. My opinion is that it's no different than a department head helping select their staff that work below them, that, you know, they work closely, therefore I would want that individual to be there to say, this person has exactly what we're looking for, or no, they don't, versus getting somebody picked for you and then it doesn't work, and you're like, why'd they pick that person, you know? So that would be my suggestion, would be that to have you there since you do work so close with them.
I think if that's a valid, I can understand.
I'd like
that
to see
point.
that.
Well, put it this way, then it gives us the odd man or odd person. You can't find members.
True, yeah,
Um,
true, yeah.
Since Ms. Kruger's not here right now, maybe we could, as far as what we've done the last time, maybe we could have her do an email out to us to show what was there and go from that point.
And we could probably talk about this more at the 13th board meeting. We can at least get the application process rolling and get people coming in, and then we'll pick up when we get back from the AMC, right?
Mhm. Let's see what we get first.
Yeah.
and then-
Can I mention one other thing?
Sure.
Just to keep in mind, if you could potentially be having all new people on there, do you want to keep staggered terms? I don't think you want everybody coming up at the same time with their term.
Mhm.
So just something to keep in mind.
Mhm.
That makes sense, yes.
But if they're all starting at the same time, what do you do?
Well, and
Well,
if they're
you
all
may wanna-
starting at the same time, I think that it's gonna take the time to get familiar with it. So you don't wanna
Mhm.
ask someone to just be on for 1 year
No.
and another one for 2 and for another 3. I think it should be addressed after the 3 years.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe have a plan that after 3 years, this person will be asked for 1 year, this person will be asked for 2.
And we could do that, I mean, even going into it, saying that this would be these districts, or we could, I wouldn't say handpick, but we could draw straws.
Well, we had,
I don't know.
we had discussed this a few years back when term limits were coming forward. We did put kind of
Mhm.
a
Mhm.
Right.
scenario together for that, that maybe we could revisit that.
Yeah.
But I don't think that at this point, we should be asking for a commitment of less than 3 years.
I agree.
Because you need that base of knowledge.
Well, and, you know, if you go 3-year terms is 9 years, you could even have it where, you know, we could, brainstorming. If you say you draw straws and say, okay, these districts were picked to only be 5 years and then reevaluated versus these can continue, or do we just reevaluate all of them at that time? Some people are gonna wanna step down, we know that, you know, after so many years, kinda, okay, I'm done, I've served my
That's
time.
true.
So I guess, to me, I would just, at this point in time, not worry about it and come back, you know,
It may take care of itself.
exactly.
Mhm. True.
You know, and if it doesn't, then we can, like I said, draw straws or whatever the case may be, the board could make a decision.
Well, and it could be that
but-
that the Board of Adjustments could go with terms of which commissioner's district they're in, or, you know.
Oh, there's another good
something
point
like
too,
that,
yeah,
you
you
know.
could do something like that too.
It could be connected to that, and that would stagger them.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
There are various training opportunities that are available for
Mhm.
both staff and the folks who serve on these committees, and we have had some preliminary discussions about doing an in-house overview of kind of the responsibilities
Mhm.
that go along with participating in this. In addition to that, whenever a decision is before the board, they do get a fairly detailed packet from
Mhm.
zoning, and the attorney is also available there to provide, answer questions, provide guidance in areas where people would need assistance.
Mhm.
So I guess it's not completely hitting the ground running without
Right.
any supports.
Okay. Okay, so we want to promote that we're looking for people for our Board of Adjustments. So if we could ask the press to,
Advertise the fact.
well, just, as you're writing about this meeting that doesn't have tons of things going on, if you could please highlight the fact that we're
Bold
looking
print or
for,
something.
that we're looking for people for on the Board of Adjustments. And if you have any questions,
Say that again?
we're looking for 4, yes. The 5th one will come from Planning and
Can you
Zoning.
help us with the 3 members who are on now and the person that is basically number 5, the person that's not up right now?
Well, you have
No, we have
The
3.
alternate.
Oh,
Three
yeah,
of an
but-
alternate. plus an
alternates Ken
alternate.
Holland, and then,
Olin?
yep, and then,
Greg Myrie.
yep, Greg Myrie. But Myrie's term limit is,
His is up on the 31st of this year.
Mhm.
yeah, and his was a little goofy because when there was a few years
Tim
ago,
Orr is, yeah.
we purposely let him go an extra time so that there was somebody with experience on there. So we knew that that was coming up, that he would go 1 extra term and then he would be done, but it would give him a few years on it.
Is that correct? I have him starting, I have Myrie starting in 2011 on my list. Now, I wasn't here, obviously, I'm just reading.
Well, there was it was Myrie, was it
I
not?
think it may have been,
Because
I
Mr.
think
Orr.
Tim Orr.
oh, was it Orr?
Yes.
That we
Tim
left
Orr was
on?
the
One of
one
them we
who was
left
given
on
the
there.
extra.
That's the okay. I'm sorry. Then it was Tim Orr that was given an extra term.
So Tim Orr is up in
Mhm.
17.
Well, he's up in 17, but
He's over his limit.
but he's already over his limit. So that's why I'm saying, we need to look at this as a pool
And
of
Ken is
candidates.
from the planning commission?
No,
No,
no, he was a
Larry Hafner is from the
yes,
Planning
Larry
Commission.
Hafner.
If you wanted to shoot me an email anytime afterwards, I could, on this.
So yeah, Hafner, Orr, and Myrie, and then Holland is the alternate.
And
Those are
now
the
we're
4.
gonna not have an alternate. So we're
Correct.
really looking for 4 people, and the 5th one will come from the planning commission.
Yep.
And I actually show here on just my roster that Richard Shield was put in as an alternate last February. I
For
Board of
Mr.
Adjustment,
Hafner?
where he can make it,
don't know.
yes.
To be the planning commission alternate
Oh,
in case
okay.
the.
Yeah.
And that's up to them.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, is there any other discussion? Then we know how we're going forward with this.
Mhm.
And it now will be a 5-member board. Okay,
If it's all right, I know there's going to be probably training available for these, but we'll come back to the board with that
Yeah.
for
Mhm.
those
That's
requests.
a good idea.
Yep.
Like I said, it is an important position for the county.
it's very important, yes.
Yeah.
Well, not saying that any other positions are less important,
Right.
but if you look at Planning Commission versus Board of Adjustment, this is a little bit higher scale since they are the final decision-making authority, so. Yeah. Thank you, gentlemen.
Our second discussion item is to approve the grant and aid agreements from 4 snowmobile clubs.
Motion to approve the grant aid agreements for the snowmobile clubs.
Second it.
Seconded.
Whoever. Pick one.
Any discussion?
We need snow.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That was in favor of snow, in case you knew what you were voting about.
We weren't voting for snow, were we?
No, I'm just kidding. Opposed? Motion carries. And then we need to discuss the lease on the land.
Yeah.
Steve, would you like to lead this, please?
Okay, in the past, I think it's a 3-year term. It has an out clause, which is normal, but it still allows for the farmer that's renting the property to be able to, get crops out, whatever. In the past, I think, I don't remember the full contract, but I believe is it a no-till?
No-till.
A no-till. I don't know what people think about that. Could it be minimum till or min-till instead?
I guess it's open for discussion.
The ad we had last time.
Okay.
I know when this got put in place, a lot of the thought process, and I was one of them behind it too, was, we look at conservation practices, and we've
Mhm.
got soil and water, and no-till is obviously by far the best as far as conservation practices, and that's kind of what we're implementing so that we kind of practice what we preach. I would like to see it stay as no-till. I know it was 3 years, and it was mandatory crop rotation as well, so somebody couldn't come in and just deplete the soil nutrients running corn on it 3 years in a row.
So if one person rents it for 3 years and has corn on it for 3 years, the next person who rents it can't plant corn?
Well, that's what I'm saying, is crop rotation. You could. I mean, if somebody really wanted to do that, they could run corn
Yeah, and I
from
don't-
here
No,
on
but
out.
that's not what my question is.
Mhm.
I thought that you said that a 3-year rotation.
Yep, so, no, rotation, so
Okay.
1 year corn, 1 year beans, 1 year corn, 1 year beans. So it ends up that a lease, doing that, one lease will be 2 corn years and a bean year, and 1 lease will be 2 bean years and a corn year.
Yeah,
So
limited no-till with crops to be grown in an acceptable conservation cropping system.
Mhm.
Maintain fertility and pH, so lime. That was our ad,
Oh, yeah.
previous ad.
Sure.
So do we want to put an ad out?
I
Yeah.
think we should continue to rent it at this point.
And we've had decent, I mean, rent 1 year was $375, another year was $240 or something like that, right?
$235.
$235,
Yeah.
and that was a double bean year too, that. So we've gotten good money for it.
Okay.
Want to just motion to advertise land leases, what we're looking
Yes.
for?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, I'll move to advertise the lease of land, 22 acres out by the high school for,
3-year term,
Yep.
3-year contract.
yep,
I'll second that.
Any discussion? And we'll use the same contract that we've used in the
Yeah.
past.
Mhm.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
When do we want to put that up? I think we waited till spring.
well,
We had it November 20.
No, we did,
November 2nd
second day of November
yep.
But it
last year.
takes, yeah, I think
Or
the current
3 years
contract
ago.
runs into April.
Mhm, it
And I would
does.
do that
Yeah.
now,
Mhm. So
sooner
if
the
we-
better, only for the fact that A, people are buying their seed already,
Yep.
and B, you're starting to forward contract anything through
Mhm.
Cargill or something now, so sooner than later.
So,
I'll get ads out. I'll talk to Brian about a date. I think, were you there last year, Steve?
Yeah.
Or last time? You want to
Yes.
be there again?
I can, yes.
Okay.
the bidding?
So I'll make sure it works for you and Brian.
Yeah, 240 last year, excuse me.
240, yep.
Yeah.
So what is that, 240 times 22 times 3? What was that? What did we get total last year?
5304, 5,304.
Okay.
okay, and we could do commissioner reports now? Commissioner Chomey?
I went to the Joint Board of Health in Norwalk County, Houston County last Tuesday, and they always have great topics, very informative. As well as Mabel. That's all I had.
Ditto. I went to the Joint Board of Health, and it definitely is it actually went rather quickly.
Yeah.
We were done within an hour shortly after, and we did get good financial reports. SHIP money has been used this year on time, so we're.
Yeah, it was
we're
very
well.
good financial reports.
Mhm.
I had no meetings last week. I was informed that I was now the chair of the public health, to which I declined, to which Mary said I can't. So then I said I resigned. She said I can't. So I guess I'm chair now or something.
Congratulations.
No,
So thanks.
actually, that's not right.
Okay, good.
Because remember when we talked about it, we said it should go up before the board on the next,
We said we'd wait for the new members.
for the new
Okay,
members
good.
to
Thank
come
you.
on board.
Good. That's
Yeah,
good.
because
I do remember
I
that.
get, I
we
get a little
felt-
wiggle room to get out of this one?
I'm
Yeah, we
actually
felt
chair
that
next year
whoever,
Good.
yeah, you're chair of the,
of the Joint Board of Health, and
We
Mitch
left
is
that
a-
open.
Okay, good. 'Cause I'm
We
gonna-
left the alternate for Shack open, is what we left open.
right, because we weren't going to elect someone to a position that they weren't committed to.
Yeah.
And so-
we didn't know about it. So at our next meeting, which is in February, we will decide on the alternate for the Shack meeting.
Right. Because this year, our chair goes to Teresa,
Okay, good.
And
and our vice chair is Randy?
no,
No, not Randy, the one,
Oh, Mark.
Mark.
Prescott,
Mark,
yeah.
Mark.
yeah, Marcus from Fillmore County.
Mhm.
Yep. And then
And
Mitch,
Mitch is SHAC representative, and
we just need an alternate.
we need an alternate in
And
our
that'll
next
be
meeting.
chosen from the full Houston County Board.
Mhm.
Well,
Good.
from the
That's a
joint
relief.
board.
Yeah, you're not
She
on
was
SHAC.
playing with you,
Good.
playing with your mind.
Okay.
Other than that, nothing.
I just had Joint Board of Health and Houston County Festival of Trees, which provides a lot of funding for care and share, anything, there's some other causes
Did
this
you-
time of the year.
Did you do some of the auctioning with it?
Yes.
How'd
Yep.
it go? Did it good turnout?
Good turnout. I think the auction on the side of it alone was probably just under $20,000.
Okay.
So
Wow.
good turnout there. They also ran silent auctions. I don't know what they did. Plus, I think admission charge is $25 per person. But I think a good time was had by
Good.
everyone. so.
Awesome.
That's great.
Mhm.
Thanks for all that donating of your services you do too.
It's always a
Sometimes
lot.
we don't
Mhm.
people don't appreciate what all of us done that way. And I had the Joint Board of Health also, so that was all. Is there any other business to come before the board? Anything else? Nope.
Nope.
All right.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.